Okay, we're going to do some Sunday stretches with Lori because my elbows have been bothering me. Why? Because I've been crocheting so much. So periodically I need to stop and do these. I'm going to do some neck stretches as well, but we're going to do our elbows and wrists first. Okay, this first one, again, I'm learning all of these from Hinge Health, Hinge, and Health, not just Hinge. That's a different website. So Hinge Health, and these, they specifically say are for typing. So I think that applies to crochet, right? So we're going to start with the first one, and I'm using this box, this Kleenex box, to show you. Oh, gotta angle it down a little bit more. Push it back a little bit more. Angle it this way. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually, you bend your wrist over the edge of a table, preferably in a box, and leave it for 30 seconds, and then relax. I shake them off. That's what I do. You don't have to do that. And then go to the edge and bend, and you should be feeling the stretch all through there. Okay. I would have done it on the table below this, but it was just too low for the camera. Okay. And you want to do that 4 times. I'm just showing you demonstrations, so that's the first one. Okay, let's do, well, because I'm me, we have to go back to the first one for a sec. Remember I said you'd angle it down. Okay, so we're going to do that first. Let it stretch. Again, better if you've got a table that's at the right height here. You're not filming, I assume. And then you're going to bring it up. Now see, that stretches and strengthens right here. Now I'm not assisting, so it's not like the ones we were just doing. Okay, so it's down for a little bit and then up. And I'm going to need to do that on my left side, but I'm not going to do that on camera. So, okay, that's exercise 1 redo. Wrist flexor stretch. So this is where you're going to pull your arm out and then pull this back. Here, got an angle so you can see. Pull this back, not to where it hurts, but where it's stretching. Try to keep it as straight in front of you as possible. Again, don't push so hard it hurts. I see what it is now, sorry. Easily distracted. Oh, for 30 seconds. Actually, I think that one's only 15 seconds. Yeah, 15 seconds, and you do that 3 times. Okay, on the one side, and then again, I personally shake them off after each. Then we're going to go over to the other side, do the same thing. You can see my flexion in my left is different than my flexion in my right. You should be feeling this all through and down through your elbow. But again, not to where it hurts. I got to be out straight. It's that angle is messing with my trapezoids. Okay, so, and then 3 times 15 seconds. Or just do these, you know, back and forth a couple times. This next one is wrist extensor stretch. So same thing out front, but you're going to pull down. This is the direction I should have gone so you can see it. So this is going to, you're going to feel the stretch through up here. Okay? And I'm going to just do it once on each side because I got to keep myself somewhat balanced, right? Okay, as straight out as I can. So for whatever reason, this one I'm feeling all the way up in my bicep. My left arm and my right arm are very different, just like my left leg and my right leg. But we try to keep balanced. Again, I'm not timing. If it helps, if you've got a little kitchen timer, you can set to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever feels right. You can do it. Otherwise, just, I'm looking at the exercises. I'm going to pause it for a sec so I can watch this one. Okay, next exercise is called wrist rotations. So we're going to have our elbows at our sides. I'm going to have to angle that down even more. Okay, and we're going to open our hands up and then close them. This is just a quick 5 second or so, and then we do this. Okay, I'm going to link the exercise, the video where I did the last set of Sunday stretches. Again, this is crafting stretches, but it's labeled as for typing. I think that qualifies. All right, this one is called elbow curl. I think I'm gonna have to move it back. And we're just going to, I'm watching the exercise here. Once again, I have misplaced my, okay. So, you're gonna have your elbow down at your side and then your hand fist it up, and then like this. And you're not really holding very much. You should feel this stretch all the way, probably from the shoulder through your elbow and down. Again, this is called an elbow curl. We're going to switch sides real quick. Ugh, this lighting, I am so sorry. Again, I have my hand fisted up, and then down, and then slowly bring up where you're feeling the stretch, and then release and down. Controlled up and down. All right. This one actually is very helpful for me personally. This is called the standing T. Okay, you're going to bring your hands out like this, and then bring them all the way across into a T. All right. Out into a T. And then out into a T. So you're stretching across here. Okay? And do the reps that feel right for you. Okay, this is a tricep stretch. So that's this back here. You're going to take your hand flat and like put it in the middle below your neck, and then you're going to stretch. Again, to where you're feeling the stretch, not to where it hurts. I think this is a 20-second, 15-second hold. And then I'm going to release and shake it out because that's what I do. Now you wouldn't normally switch sides yet. Do like 3 reps. And then do the same thing over here. Again, I have a lot more flexibility in my right than my left arm. Because of a car accident, but you know, minor. All right. So that, I need to kind of wiggle my neck a little bit after that one as well. All right. This is the ulnar nerve. This is one I actually have a problem with. Your ulnar nerve runs through these fingers, down through your elbow, up over into your shoulder. So this one you're going to reach over, sit straight. Normally you would do this standing, but we're going to place my head in my hand like that. See how I turned it like that? Because then it's stretching that ulnar nerve that goes through your elbow. All right. And then again, for me to balance, I do it on the other side. Turn my wrist. And as long as I'm feeling the stretch, which I finally am, I was having trouble getting my left elbow in the right position, but I'm feeling that stretch. My left needs it extra. So that is an ulnar stretch. Okay, so this is actually the right and left radial nerve. So what you're going to do, you're going to have your hand facing this way. Oh, I'm going to have to angle that down. All right, can you see my hand? Yeah. You're going to have it next to you, just a little bit behind your hip, and then pull up like that. You'll feel that for me. I'm feeling it in my pinky, particularly for whatever reason. And then shake it off, and then bring it back, and and you're supposed to bring it back up like this, and then like that, and then do the other side. I'm going to do the other side real quick to balance out, but you don't need to see me do that 100 times. Okay, on that last exercise, when you pull your arm back, you're supposed to look at your hand. Okay, so that's going to stretch more. So look at your hand, even though if you can't see it, just like as if you're looking at it. All right. This is why I'm not a physical therapist. Let me make this very clear. I am not a physical therapist. These are things that are helping me. Okay, now we're going to do some neck exercises. You're going to have your arms down to your side, and then chin down, and then as back as far as works for you, and then chin down to chest and back. These are shockingly called head nods or neck nods. Head nods, I think. Anyway, you can feel the stretch there. You should feel a stretch there. Like 5 or 10 seconds as you move each. And move slowly. Don't move quickly. And again, do not go past where it's causing pain. Do not go to where it's causing pain, just where you're feeling the stretch. Okay, this is called the seated levator stretch. You want your arms straight down by your side. And you kind of put your chin to your armpit. And then we're going to stretch to the other side. Chin to your armpit, arms straight down. So this is going to be a list of seated exercises. I'm sorry about the motion sickness. All right, let's check out the next one. These are called head turns. I know that you couldn't have guessed that, but I'm going to add something. So if I'm facing that way, I'm going to reach over and grab this shoulder. You're going to get a little more stretch, and plus it does something to connect the two sides of your brain. So I'm going to look over and grab that shoulder. It's going to give you more stretch, and it does something to connect the two sides of your brain to work together. So you can just do the neck turns, which is a nice exercise. I use that all the time. I didn't know it was a specific exercise. This is called the seated trap, as in trapezoid stretch. Okay, arms to the side, and then ear to the shoulder. Again, not past where it hurts, just where you feel the stretch. and then to the center. I like to do them opposites. I think they do multiple reps to the same side. But for me, it feels more comfortable to be alternating like this. My lighting is special. I apologize. So not only am I giving you motion sickness, it's like strobe lights around here. I apologize. All right. I gotta wait for the next. Okay, this next one is called seated cat-cow. If you know yoga, you know the cat-cow position, or stretch really. So this will be cat, seated. You're gonna put your hands behind your head, and then your elbows in, and you're stretching your back. And then you're gonna come up, and you're gonna reach back, and that's your, wait, is this one? This one's cow. And that should stretch your core, and then this is cat. And we're kind of curling our back, and then stretching back. So again, these are seated stretches. And let's go through the list really quickly again of what I showed you. That last set was seated exercise for neck relief. Or was that gentle? It might have been gentle neck mobility. Oh, it was gentle neck mobility. So the neck ones were head turns, and I added that you can do the opposite hand. So that same hand that you're like facing toward, but to the opposite shoulder. Now, if you do this, you're not going to feel the stretch, so don't do that. So it's the same hand, but opposite shoulder that you're looking. That's head turns. You can just do head turns, not fast like that. Don't do that. Head nods. This is going to stretch here when you're back, and then when you're down, chin down, it's going to stretch all those muscles in the back of your neck. The seated levator is when you're like looking at your armpit. Again, not as fast as I was just doing them. Head turns, that's the one I was talking about with the shoulders. So I'm not going to benefit from doing this. It's the same hand I'm facing and then reaching across to the opposite shoulder. And then do that both ways. Again, that was called the head turns. I added what I learned in a AP teaching course. They said this can help improve. So I would have my students do this little thing right before tests. And some of them said they felt like it helped them. I don't know, anything to help, right? And then the trap stretch is where you're taking your ear, and you can feel it right there. Well, at least I can. It's like you're keeping your shoulder still, but like trying to touch your ear to your shoulder. Please go get emergency medical assistance if your ear actually touches your shoulder, because no, that's scary. Unless you're some kind of contortionist, maybe they can. But again, I'm keeping my shoulders flat. And I'm feeling the stretch all through across there. Okay, so that's the seated trap step, and then the seated cow is like cat-cow. Sorry. First, it's down and you're stretching, arching your back. And then when you come up, you're arching your back the other way. Again, if you've done any yoga, you've done cat-cow before, but it's usually on all fours. I struggle with that because of the knee surgery I've had and the osteoarthritis in my knees. So these seated alternatives are great. You're getting a lot of the same benefit without, in my case, without me feeling miserable about being on my knees. So seated stretches. Now let's look at those let's do a quick review of our elbow exercises. We did the typing exercises, which was the wristbands on with support on I had it on the Kleenex box. You do down and then you do up, but supported, okay? Both sides, obviously. Wrist flexor was this way, straight out and then pull back. Wrist extensor, straight out and pull down. Wrist rotation was this one. This one, I think, is a good, just finish a row if it's a long row and do this one real quick. Keep those wrists mobile. The elbow curl, which is literally like this. And I'll do it over on the other side, keep myself balanced. Standing T. And you're going to feel that stretch all the way across here. For me, that's an area I have to stretch after I've been crocheting for a long time. They say standing, I'm obviously sitting. And then the tricep stretch. So this is another tricep. Sorry, this is tricep, not trapezoid. Is that it? Is it a trapezoid? It's just trap. So my brain, I was a math teacher, so trapezoid is what I did. Okay, so that tricep stretch. So to me, this set of exercises is pretty complete in terms of what you can do a couple of them. Like I said, especially completing a row, find the ones you need to do as you go, and hopefully this was helpful. I will link to the previous one I did. It was sunlight, so maybe the lighting won't be as obnoxious, and I definitely didn't move the computer around as much. With all of that said, thanks for coming in. Can I get an amen? And hugs to you all.